Okay, let's get started. Everyone, thanks for joining and welcome to the Foster City AYSO Spring Soccer Parent Meeting. We are going to talk about Spring 2022 and what are the important dates, how long is the spring schedule, and what does the spring program comprise of. So we will be covering a lot of details. And like I said, we are recording this meeting, and this meeting will be later uploaded to our Foster City AYSO YouTube channel. And we will send out the link with the slides also by end of day tomorrow. As I'm going through this presentation, feel free to ask questions by typing your question in the chat. And Beth or Tracy, I think Beth is monitoring the chat, and so she will be able to answer any questions in the chat itself. And I'll be pausing often to handle any questions. So before we get started, just a quick round of introductions. So my name is Karthik Suryamurthy. I'm the Regional Commissioner for Foster City AYSO. Been the regional commissioner for the last 2 years and been a volunteer with the board since my son started playing soccer with AYSO starting 2014 onwards. And we also have Beth and Tracy on the call. Beth is our registrar, and so most of you should have interacted with Beth already. She fields all your emails and questions, and you should have seen a lot of emails from her. And we also have Tracy. Most of you should also have heard from her. So this spring, she is managing the uniforms, but she also has been the previous regional commissioner and has a long history of volunteering with AYSO. So these are the three folks on the call, and between the three of us, we should be able to answer any questions that you all might have. Moving on. So just a little bit of background on AYSO. So it's completely volunteer driven. Incorporated in 1974, so been there close to 50 years. And there are 6 philosophies that basically govern Foster City AYSO's philosophy. Everyone plays, balanced teams, open registration, positive coaching, and good sportsmanship. A lot of this is applicable to our fall program, which is competitive, but I will anyway go ahead and give a quick overview. So everyone plays, it means every team that is formed and every person in the team is basically gets an equal chance to play. Just because some players are good than others or better than the others doesn't mean that they will get to play more. So Foster City enforces this, Foster City AYSO enforces the rule that every child in every team must play at least 3 quarters of a game.
Excuse me, Karthik, your slideshow isn't showing right now. Can you put it on the PowerPoint?
Interesting, thank you. Give me a minute. Is it moving, or do you see, or my screen is not being shared at all?
No, I just see a picture of you. Very handsome.
Thank you. Let me get back to sharing my screen again. Are you able to see my screen?
Yeah, we don't see the PowerPoint, but we see your homepage.
Yeah, we see the desktop.
Okay, give me a minute. Let me try this.
There you go.
Okay, cool. So like I said, we are governed by 6 philosophies. Everyone plays, and I just talked about that. Balanced teams at the beginning of every fall, as after all the children are registered, we look at previous ratings of the children and make sure that the teams are evenly balanced so that no one team is stronger than the others. And open registration. Registration is open to all residents of Foster City. There are no prerequisites, and we are also open to registration. We're also open to kids from other cities outside of Foster City. Positive coaching. Coaches are meant to encourage the players to not to just, to play a good game. It's not all about winning, and positive coaching and good sportsmanship go together. It's not always about winning. We want to make sure that players develop as good people and good children and not just as good athletes. So a lot of this comes together in fall, but just a quick refresher, just so that you all know what is AYSO's philosophies. So this is our Foster City board. I think the picture is pre-pandemic. The photo is from pre-pandemic, but it is completely volunteer driven. Like I said, we do not get paid at all. Sometimes there's a misconception that Foster City AYSO board people get paid. We get paid only in the thanks and the smiles of the children and the parents, and we put in a lot of hours, and we are constantly looking for volunteers. So I will also talk a little bit at the end towards what volunteer positions are open and how someone who is interested in helping us out can contribute. So getting back to spring. So spring is going to be led by 4 AYSO United coaches. AYSO United is the club program within AYSO, and they are a close partner of Foster City AYSO, and they have 4 coaches who are very professional and who are very familiar with coaching club soccer and very good in skills development, and they are the coaches who will be basically helping your kids out throughout the spring season. So there will be 10 Saturday sessions and optional weekday sessions from Monday, March 14th to Saturday, May 21st, which is the weekend before Memorial Day weekend. So here are some important dates. And like I said, this session is being recorded and I will send out the slides, but if you want to take a screenshot of this, you feel free to. Saturday sessions start on March 19th, which is the first Saturday after this weekend, and end on the Saturday before Memorial Day weekend, which is 5/21. The weekday sessions are optional. The weekday sessions start this Monday on March 14th and end on Friday, May 20th. I'm going to move on to some more details, but before that, are there any questions that we haven't answered so far that needs any input from either me or Tracy? Okay, I will assume that as a no. So where is all this going to happen? So for people who have been with AYSO for a long time, they must be familiar with Sea Cloud Park. For people who are registering their kids for the first time, so all the spring sessions, Saturday as well as weekday sessions, are going to be held at Sea Cloud Park. So for people who have moved to Foster City recently or who are not familiar with Sea Cloud Park, so this is the map of Foster City. All you have to do is take Edgewater all the way to this street. This street is called Pitcairn Drive, and there's a clear sign over there that says Sea Cloud Park. And if you keep driving on Pitcairn Drive, you will get to Sea Cloud. You won't miss it. It is the largest park, probably maybe the second largest after Leo J. Ryan, but it is the big. It's a pretty big park, and you won't miss it. So on Saturdays, we will be playing, the kids will be playing on S3 and S2 at Sea Cloud, and the weekday clinics will be held on S1. So the next slide will show you what S3, S2, and S1 are. So this is the map of Sea Cloud, and it has all these different fields. So this is a good slide to take a screenshot of if you want to keep this for future reference. So S3 is the topmost field, S2 is in the middle, and S1 is at the bottommost. And pretty much this side of the park is where all your kids will be playing, and this is all you need to know. There are a lot of other fields that you don't need to bother, at least during spring.
I think there's a common question that's coming up in the chat, and I don't know if you guys are looking at that. I think it's more so of the consistency of actually having to attend the weekday sessions versus the Saturday sessions. If you can just speak on that. I know when I read up, it said that you can miss a weekday session, but the Saturday sessions were mandatory. Is that correct?
Yes, so you pretty much summarized it very well. So the weekday sessions are a bonus. The only reason why we say the weekday sessions are optional is because kids have after school programs. Kids sometimes might not be able to attend, and parents sometimes in the past have stressed out that their kids are not able to attend, and they always try to find a slot where their kids can attend and things like that. So that's why we say it's optional. And the Saturday programs, I mean, obviously, if you attend during the weekday, I mean, the coaches will be there. They will be doing scrimmages and skills development. But Saturday session, you do not want to miss, because then you will be missing all the sessions in a week. So that's why we say, since the kids are free on a Saturday, make sure that you attend the Saturday session. And if you can attend the weekday session, that's great. If not, don't stress about it. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense, but I think that was like a majority of the questions coming into the chat. So
Okay, cool.
I want to clarify.
Yeah, thank you. Cool. Moving on. So just a layout of the fields. So as the schedule gets published, and your kid will be assigned a specific field and a specific part of the field. So your kid might be assigned S3 West or S3 Center or S2 West. So the previous slide showed the orientation of S3, S2, and S1. And this slide shows S3 West, S3 Center, and S3 East. S3 West is the one closest to Pitcairn Drive and the one next to the small parking lot. And S2 West is the one next to Pitcairn Drive. And S3 East is farther to the right and towards the east. So look at the schedule. You should see an email from Beth as to which fields are your kids assigned to. And it should be pretty obvious given this map. Okay. Parking at Sea Cloud. So Saturdays get quite busy at Sea Cloud. So parking is always a challenge. So come at least 15 to make sure that you arrive at least 15 to 20 minutes before your kids' game starts, so that you can find parking and walk from the parking spot to the assigned field. So there is a lot of parking on Pitcairn Drive, and there is also parking on Sea Cloud Drive. There is some construction going on over here toward because the levee construction is going on, but still some parking is open over here. But like I said, parking gets quite challenging because there might be parents who have already parked for the game that is going on, and there will be parents arriving because their kids' session is about to start. So make sure that you plan in advance and be patient with other parents and kids. There are a lot of kids crossing the streets. So just plan on coming to Sea Cloud at least 20 minutes before your kids' game starts. Okay. Any questions so far?
Now, what happens if we're late to a game?
Try not to be late, but if you are late, I think just check in with the coach, and the coach will probably be doing drills, and the coach will make sure that if the kids are distributed into groups, the coach will find a group that your child can be part of. Tracy, you want to chime in over here? Tracy, you're on mute. Okay, I think Tracy is typing the response on the chat. So I think she's having some audio issues. So anyway, so I think being late is not a problem, but try not to be late. And if you are more than 15 minutes late, obviously your child is going to miss out on some key drills. And usually what happens during spring is that the first half is usually drills and skills development, and the second half is scrimmages. So it's best you are not late so that you don't miss out on the drills and the skills development.
Okay, thank you.
Cool. Covered parking. So moving on. So just a request, I hear some background noise. So if people can mute themselves, it will be great. And if you have any question, then unmute yourself, please. Yeah, thank you. Let me do a quick look at the chat before I. Okay, that's fine. Okay, I think a lot of the questions are going to be addressed as we go through the future slides. Okay, there is a last question saying, yes, thanks, Beth. Coach info to be on the list. We'll be sharing later. Okay, let's move on. And so cohort assignment. So just to give you a little bit of background, in previous spring sessions, as soon as registration was done, we would assign the kids to different cohorts, and we would decide when a specific cohort would play, and parents really didn't have a choice. And this would cause, I would say, a lot of stress, because it might interfere with other activities of the child. And there would be a lot of requests from the parents to change the schedule, and that was really not possible on our side. So this time what we did differently was we let the parents choose what cohort that they want to be part of, and based on the preferred time slots. So as of now, everyone should be assigned to a cohort. It is based on your selection and based on your preference. It is too late for us to make any cohort assignment changes, and they must stick to the same cohort that they have been assigned to. And there will be an attendance during the weekly session, weekday clinics, as well as the Saturday sessions. And expect that you will see an email from Beth before the weekend with the link to the schedules. And I think you should be able to view the schedules through the Sign Up Genius link. Beth, anything to add over here?
The only thing I might add is that the coaches, I may or may not be able to put the coach's name up on the schedules, just because I want to make sure that they don't change. They could be possibly, reassigned. So the more important thing is that you show up at the correct fields segment, whether it's S3 West or S3 East, and then you'll meet your coach when you're there, if we can't get the information out to you before that.
Yeah, thanks, Beth. So just a clarification for everyone. Spring is very different from fall. Fall, children are part of teams, and they are assigned a specific coach and an assistant coach. Spring, we just have a pool of coaches. We have 4 coaches from AYSO United. So even though your kid is part of a specific cohort, there might not be a specific coach for that cohort. So the 4 coaches will basically distribute the responsibility on a daily basis as to which cohort that they might be responsible for. So as Beth said, just make sure that you show up at the specific field that you're assigned to, and there will be United coaches. They will be wearing United t-shirts, and you will be able to identify them easily as coaches, and they will basically make sure that your child is taken care of. Okay, cool. Moving on. So in the next few slides, we are going to talk about which division or which group is going to be in which field, and that's why we have this table. And so if your child is born in these respective years, they belong to this division. So for example, if your child was born in 2012 or 2013, they belong to 10U boys or 10U girls. And if you see 10UC in the next few slides, that means 10U co-ed, which means boys and girls. Okay. So you might want to take a screenshot of this so that you can understand the rest of the few slides. Okay, I will give it a few seconds for people to take a screenshot and then move on to the next slide. So this is the schedule. So I'm not going to talk through this because there is a lot of detail over here. So obviously, like I said, we will send the slides out, but go ahead and take a screenshot of this if this is something that you want to keep for future reference. So based on the previous slide, figure out which group or child that your child is part of. And once you figure out the group, then you will be able to use this matrix to see when your Saturday session is, at what time and at what field.
Let me just add to, I mean, you've already signed up. So if you're a 10U boy, there's two different sessions. You've already signed up for your session. For the few people who didn't sign up, you were assigned a session. And that's what you can either go to the Sign Up Genius link that we sent out before, and then the next day or two, I'm going to be sending out a link to different spreadsheets that show you exactly, again, which group your kid is in.
Okay, cool. I would strongly encourage everyone to take a screenshot of this and this slide also. So this is the weekday schedule, and weekday sessions are only for 6U and above. And once again, based on which cohort your child is assigned to, you should be able to very clearly figure out from this table when is your weekday session. And the C over here means co-ed, which means boys and girls both. Okay, now we'll get into some rules. So I think, like I have emphasized before, all sessions, drills and scrimmages within the age cohorts, no switching of cohorts. They will be led by United coaches. Make sure that your children wear uniforms and shin guards. Shin guards are extremely important. Children will not be allowed to practice or do scrimmages without shin guards. Bring enough water. This is spring, and so it's quite sunny. And make sure that your children are well hydrated. And bring the uniform and a penny. And you should have got a uniform and a penny. If you haven't already picked it up, there should be emails in your inbox from Tracy. Make sure that your child only brings water to the field. Foster City Parks and Recreation rules are no food and colored drinks on turf. So if this is something that your child wants to have after practice or before practice, make sure that it's outside Sea Cloud Park. COVID safety, as you all know, things are a lot more relaxed now. But we don't have any mask mandates. We follow the San Mateo County guidelines and the CDC guidelines. If your child wants to wear a mask, feel free to, but just respect other people's opinions either way, whether they are wearing a mask or not wearing a mask. Some basic stuff, just out of precaution for COVID, do not handle other players' belongings. No jewelry allowed. Basically, kids can get hurt if they are wearing wristbands or necklaces or earrings. So please make sure that your children are not wearing any jewelry. Once again, there are no exceptions to this. The only exception is a medical ID. And we are very strict about this, mostly because of your child's health and safety. And these are AYSO national guidelines, and we don't want to be violating those guidelines. And just, observe standard sanitary rules during practice sessions. So there are some specific questions about uniforms. Yes, Let me talk about cleats in the future slides, but there was a specific question. We got the jersey, but not shorts. Do we wear our own shorts? So there is a slide on uniforms also. And so let me bring that up. So like I said, AYSO, as part of the registration fee, will supply you with the jersey, soccer socks, and pennies. You should have picked this up already from Tracy. If you haven't, there should be emails in your inbox to pick them up, okay? You will have to bring your own shorts, and you'll have to buy your own shin guards and shoes. So shin guards are an absolute necessary, please, and they have to be worn under the socks. Why are shin guards necessary? Because there will be kids playing with soccer cleats, and your children will get hurt if they don't wear shin guards. Since this is spring, we allow children to wear sneakers. In fall, that's not an option, but soccer cleats or sneakers are both okay. So there are some specific questions about we did not receive pennies. And so, like I said, yeah, okay. So Tracy and Beth are replying to all the questions. So I would say just be patient and read through the chat, and you can see all your questions being answered. So moving on about soccer cleats. So if you're going to buy soccer cleats, there's a big distinction between soccer cleats and baseball or American football cleats. So make sure that you do not buy baseball or American football cleats. They have a toe cleat, as you can see in the slide, whereas soccer cleats do not have a toe cleat. So if you are wearing a shoe, a cleat that has a toe cleat, your child will not be allowed to play. And so just make sure wherever you are buying your cleats from, that you make it very clear, you are doubly sure that you're buying soccer cleats. Or if you're going in person into a store, just ask the person at the checkout before you buy it that this is a soccer cleat.
Kartik?
Yeah.
Real quick, this is very, very important because in the past, what has happened is we have baseball going on at the same time. So your child may be in both sports. Your child cannot keep their baseball cleats on and run over to soccer. And this is a very, very common incident that's happened in the past. They will be asked to take their shoes off and put soccer cleats on or tennis shoes. So if your child does not have those and they only have baseball cleats, they will be asked to leave. So please, please, please do not wear baseball cleats.
Thank you, Tracy. That's a good point. Thank you. I forgot about the fact that baseball was going on. And yeah, so I think Beth has answered a few more questions. Yeah, and about sneakers versus cleats, if your kid is old enough to wear cleats, I would strongly encourage the children to wear cleats, because I'm assuming you will be continuing into fall, and fall cleats are an absolute must, and it might be a good idea for your child to get used to cleats with a friendly drills and scrimmages that we do in spring. Okay, obviously you can buy all of this online, but if you want to do it in person, we strongly recommend Dick's Sporting Goods, and I have bought most of my son's soccer cleats either at Dick's Sporting Goods or at Sports Basement. Dick's Sporting Goods is an AYSO national sponsor, so you'll be actually helping AYSO if you go ahead and do this. Okay, moving on. Uniforms. So should be complete by now. Tracy, do you have any additional information to share about uniforms?
Yes, I do. I did another pickup tonight. I've done now over 8. The only exception is for the 12Us, which came in later. There are still probably over 25 families who have not picked up their uniform. I've sent out emails again tonight. Thursday is the last day. There's no exceptions. These uniforms will not be handed out on the day of, nor during the weeks of the clinics. And the reason being is because you want your child to come prepared and ready to play. You don't want to be trying to scramble and change them on the field, lose 5 to 10 minutes, and or hold up anybody else. So for those of you who have not gotten them, and several emails went out tonight, but Thursday is the last time to get them. You will not get them on Saturday, nor will you get them during weekday clinics. If you have any questions about this and need to get a hold of me, the email's right there up on top.
Yeah. So folks, Tracy, like she has said, she has sent multiple emails and she has arranged for 8 uniform pickups. Like I said, we are a volunteer-driven organization, but there is a limit to how much time we can spend on this, and that's why we have some of these deadlines. So please make the effort to pick up your uniform, that other 25 families who have not picked up their uniforms on Thursday. Thank you. And if you have any questions, reach out to Tracy. Like she said, her email is over here. Okay. Moving on. COVID-19 protocols. So I would say general safety precautions that are recommended by the county as well as CDC. Do not come to any of these sessions if you're sick. For example, if you're not going to school, then do not come to this session. For example, my son, I had to pick him up from school a few weeks ago because he threw up at school, and the school said he cannot come to school the next day. They have to have at least 24 hours. So the same rule applies. If you're not going to school, even though you might be feeling fine, do not come for the weekday session or the Saturday session. Especially, I mean, obviously, if you're aware that you have come into contact with someone who has been sick with COVID or other illnesses, please do the right thing and make the proper judgment. Okay. If you have a COVID-19 positive test result, stay at home for 5 days, and then you can come back after a negative test. This is what the schools insist, and this is what we insist. Okay, I'm just taking a pause if there are any questions. I'm assuming there are no questions and moving on. Okay, so this is pretty self-explanatory. I'm not going to read through the whole thing. We have been with the pandemic for close to 2 years. Everyone knows what they should be doing and what they should not be doing. And so if you have any of these symptoms, please or if you have come in contact, or if you have traveled internationally, please take the appropriate measures. Okay. I think with this, we are pretty much at the end of spring and its details. So I will pause now to handle any questions about spring before I move on to the further slides. So are there any questions that haven't already been addressed in the chat that people would like to bring up? There is a last question that says, do parents need to wear soccer shoes? No, parents can just wear sneakers to help out with their children as well as the coaches. I think you can just wear something comfortable that you feel running around the field. So you don't need to, parents don't need to wear soccer cleats. Okay. Any other questions about spring that myself, Beth, or Tracy can help answer?
Can I interject something here?
Yeah.
Let me turn my video on. So I'm the registrar, and most of you have dealt with me in one respect or the other. One of the things I would like to ask, I have about 15 or so kids left whose ages have not been verified yet. Anybody who's new to AYSO has to have their age verified by having me look at their birth certificate or passport. And then I have to check it off in our system that it has been verified, and the parents cannot verify it themselves. Some of the people who haven't done it, I've been sending you emails. If you haven't been getting emails, then you're probably good. But please pay attention to these emails because your kids cannot play unless their age is verified. And you can check if you have a question about whether or not the age is verified, you can go into Sports Connect and go under the edit feature next to your child's name. It's like a box, it's an icon with a box with a pencil in it, and you'll see whether or not it has been verified. It'll say document verified. But those of you who are getting my emails, please, please, please get this done because I want to wrap this up too. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Beth. There are a couple of questions on the chat, and I will take the easy one. What do you wear for weekday for the kids? The same, that's why you have a uniform. Follow the same pattern for the weekday sessions as well as the Saturday sessions. They wear uniforms, the jersey that's been given to them, the socks that's been given to them, either cleats or sneakers, and they should bring a penny with them. Okay. There is one more question. Yes.
Yeah, I can answer the 45-minute cohort one.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay, so I'm also meeting with our United coaches this week, and we're going to go over stuff. Basically what it is, it's called a jamboree. So the children are going to be in jamborees where they're going to be going over sessions like the drills, fun little games. And then the last part of the session, they're going to break out in small-sided games. So depending on how many kids there are, 3v3s, 4v4s, that's why there's the penny. The penny needs to be brought to every Saturday because that is your child's penny. Yes, we're kind of the low, the COVID thing, but we did it for the measures of still being safety, that every child has their own penny. So please don't forget to bring that penny to every Saturday session. That is your child's penny. I suggest maybe even taking a Sharpie and marking their name on it, initials or something. But that 45 minutes are just fun little drills and having a great time and then breaking out in little short-sided games. So I hope that answers the question.
Thank you, Tracy. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, so my son has been with part of the spring program for quite a few years. And just like Tracy mentioned, the kids will take part in fun little drills for the first 15-20 minutes, warm-ups and drills and skills development. And then the coaches will break them up into groups, and they might just have a fun scrimmage. Cool. So I will move on to what's happening or what's coming in the future. So our fall program is going to start obviously in August, but we are going to open registration for fall in May of 2022. And we are looking for a lot of volunteer coaches and referees. So over the last 2 years, we have seen a drastic drop in the number of volunteers who sign up for being coaches, assistant coaches, or referees. And we would really like, and because of this reduction in coaches and referees, it's the kids and the community that gets impacted because we are not able to register enough kids because we don't have enough coaches. And even after the kids are registered, when the games actually happen, the kids don't get the full experience because there are not enough referees. And so there is a direct impact of not having enough coaches and referees on the quality of the program that we offer. So I would strongly encourage all the parents who have a love for the game or who just like watching their children play or be involved in the children, so to sign up as coaches or referees. And also, if you do not want to sign up as a coach or a referee, but still want to help out, feel free to join us on the board. So we have a really overworked and overtaxed board. There are a lot of people on the board who do multiple things. And so, for example, Beth does registration, and registration is a huge job. And on top of that, she is our social and marketing media coordinator. She goes and puts all the lawn signs that you see that, hey, soccer signups are available. So if you see any of those FCA AYSO signups, that's all Beth. Tracy has probably handled all the possible jobs at in the board. And so we are looking for people who can help us out. And pretty much all the volunteer positions over here are very lightweight. CVPA, Child and Volunteer Protection Advocate, most of the time nothing happens. But for example, if something happens, and which is usually once or twice a season, there are a lot of experienced people on the board who can help someone who is new, who is a new CVPA. Safety director. So for example, if you pre-pandemic, if you were the fire marshal for your office or your building, this might be a good role for you. Website administrator. If you are in the tech industry and you can spare us maybe a couple of hours every month, that's all that takes us. That takes it for us to maintain our website. Board secretary, just take down notes during our board meetings and follow up with action items. Once again, just a couple of hours a month. Then as fall is coming, we have a division manager, a lot of division manager positions for each age group. And so, for example, 6U girls is a division. And so we are looking for a division manager for that. So we are looking for such division managers for about 6 to 7 age groups. And if you want to be a division manager for the age group that your child is part of, definitely that will be a big help for us, as you will know all the parents and you know how to coordinate between the parents and the coaches. We are looking for assistant winter coordinator as well as assistant spring coordinator. We already have winter and spring coordinators as well as a referee administrator. And these will be very good positions to start in the board, as there is someone more experienced already here who can mentor the person. So these are all the open roles that we are looking for, and it will be of great help if you want to help out in any of these roles. If you're unsure, the Foster City AYSO board meets in the first Wednesday of every month, and you are more than happy to, if you are more than welcome to join our board meeting, and you can figure out how you can help us without signing up for a specific role.
And we're all here, you know, we're not going to just throw you in this position or anything else. It's a lot of fun. You have a lot of support, and we're here to help you and guide you and mentor you through. So it's not something that you just automatically have to do. And also there are classes you can take online through the National AYSO website.
Yep. Yeah, definitely. If you want to become a coach or a referee or want to learn more about the game, we have so many classes, and we have experienced coaches and referees who can guide you through all this. And yeah, like I said, there is no dearth of help and mentorship in this board. We just need people to get a little bit involved. And if you can, that will be of a big help. Okay. So that is pretty much it. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to any of these folks. Obviously, feel free to reach out to me. That's the first contact over there. If you have any registration cohort questions, feel free to reach out to Beth. If you have any questions about uniforms, feel free to reach out to Tracy. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I think that is the last slide. So if I am more than happy to take any more questions if there are any additional questions. So I think there is a recurring theme, are AYSO uniforms required for the weekday sessions? So assume that the AYSO uniforms are required whenever your child comes to the field, whether it's for the weekday sessions or the Saturday sessions. The uniforms are for both. Okay, and there's a question about whether there are sessions during spring break. Yes, the sessions will continue throughout spring break. There are no breaks. So let me go back to the dates. So these are the dates, and there is no break between the dates. Okay, and like I said, we will be sending out the slides as well as the recording of this meeting. And if you need a refresher, or if any of your friends didn't attend the meeting and they need more information, just ask them to check their email, and the slides as well as the recording will be available. Okay. Thanks a lot, everyone. Hope to see you on the field.
Yes, thank you. Just email us if you need us.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.